So we just talked about this. Good morning. We are getting ready to pack up. We are officially leaving California today, and it's about 7 a.m. The kids are waking up. Heap's getting ready. The inside of the camper is about done, and then we gotta hook up the outside and we're off. All right, the boys are getting in the car. We usually get them in the car before we hook up so that they're, not in the way, or so that we don't really have to watch them as we're trying to hook up the trailer. So they'll sit in here and wait for us. He's getting the back stuff ready. So people ask me a lot how the kids do in the car. Honestly, they do pretty well like the first day. So if we have just like a one long day drive, that's usually fine for them. It's usually when we get into like a few days of driving that they're kind of like, oh, when are we gonna be there? Especially when we stop at campgrounds for like one night and they think that's where we're staying for a while. So this time we're gonna be driving maybe 4 days, 3, 4, 5 days. We're not sure yet, so it may be tricky, but I'm sure they'll do okay. They mostly just watch their iPads, take naps, look out the window. But yeah, so we're finishing up and then we're gonna head on out.
Alright, so right now we are on I-8 East. We are heading towards Texas, and we're coming up to, hopefully soon, the next few hours, the Arizona border. But I saw a thread on a RV forum, and it was talking about what lane you prefer to drive in. So I want to talk about the lane I prefer to drive in. So I prefer to drive in the right lane. A lot of people don't like driving the right lane because that means with merging traffic, you have to merge over, and usually people are driving slower and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I totally get that. I hate merging as well. So your other option is the middle lane, where you are surrounded on both sides by cars trying to pass you. Or if you're a super fast driver, them not passing you. Or, and the last option, which is not an option, is the left lane, because you're not allowed to be driving these things in the left lane. That's a passing lane. So let me tell you why I like to drive in the right lane. I like to drive in the right lane because usually on our routes we're taking major interstates, and like for instance right now we're driving 400 miles straight into our next destination, which means between here and there is not going to be that much traffic, and we're not going through like heavily populated areas. So driving in the right lane, I won't be dodging a lot of incoming traffic and merging lane traffic and things like that. And if I do know a busy interstate is coming, or a merge is coming, I can move over to the middle lane. But more often than not, when I'm on the road, I see trucks with blowout tires, I see RVs with blowout tires, cars with blowout tires. The more time you spend on the road, the more you see all of these blowouts on the road. If I were to get a blowout, I do not really want, me personally, I don't want to be in the middle lane trying to merge over to the closest emergency lane. I would rather just like, boom, there's a blowout, and hopefully, if it's not a bad blowout, just be able to pull over to the right. So there's that. Two, me personally, I don't speed. I'm in a travel trailer, a bumper pull. I'm not in a fifth wheel, so I feel sway a lot more than a fifth wheel does. So when trucks are passing, which semis pass in the fast lane all the time, they don't really listen, whatever. Some of them just cruise in the left lane. I don't want to be passed by big 18-wheelers on my right and left, because if you've been pulling for a long time and you're in a bumper pull, you know that turbulence is going to suck you in and push you out. And I just don't like the idea of having that happen on both sides. One time I was in Atlanta, and I got stuck between two trucks, and they were just, I was within an inch, I swear a few inches on either side, and it was just a very uncomfortable feeling, because for the most part, semi-truck drivers can be very aggressive drivers, and RV drivers are not aggressive drivers. And by aggressive, I mean like turds, and like trying to cut people off and zoom around and make a specific time to drop a shipment off. So we're a little bit more laid back. I don't like the idea of being trapped in. So that's why I like driving in the right lane. I personally feel a little safer. If I see there's a lot of traffic coming up, I'll move over to the middle lane. I'm not scared to drive in the middle lane, but just for the most part of the trip, I kind of like driving in the right lane. So I'm interested to hear what lane you guys like to pull in, and maybe why. If you're in the right lane like me, tell me why. If you're in the middle lane, tell me why. And if you're cruising in the left passing lane, you and I need to have a talk, because that's illegal. But anyways, guys, yeah, those are my thoughts.
We stopped at a gas station, kind of in the middle of the mountains, and there's an entire biker gang here.
And they're staring at my camper.
But I need to go to the bathroom.
We're gonna wait a little bit, okay?
So we just talked about this. That truck had a blowout. So we literally just like an hour ago filmed that last clip of Heath talking about why we drive on this side of the road, and then we passed a truck that had a blowout. So it happens more often than you might think.
Yeah, literally, like, spending so much time on the road like we do driving, you know, we get to see, it's just the more time on the road, the more opportunity to see bad things happen. So we see blowouts all the time, we see tires busted out on the road all the time, and literally, like, an hour after we just filmed that last little piece, boom, truck explodes his tire, and what does he do? Just pulls over to the right lane.
Look at all this sand on the road. It's bathroom break time in the camper. Rylan, come here. We're gonna go. This is the perks of having your own RV. We just pull over and get to use our own bathroom instead of nasty rest stop bathrooms. But look at this sandy desert. Welcome to Arizona. So it's been a while since we shared a vlog with you where we were driving and we stopped at Chick-fil-A. And I know you guys have been missing the fact that we stop at Chick-fil-A so often, so this one's for you. Yummy? Hey, Ray. Oh, it's windy.
Oh, it's windy.
Hold on. Hey, Lynn, look at the camera.
Yeah,
Say hi.
yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. We saw some people on the road earlier who like waved and saw our camper, but then they came off the same exit we did and they waited around for us to finish lunch so that they could say hey, and they watch us on YouTube, and he's a kayak fisherman, so that was pretty cool.
His name is Sean, and he bought a Yak Tribe hat.
Shout out to Sean.
Shout out to
Thanks
Sean.
for saying hi, we love it. So if
Yep.
anyone ever sees us on the road, don't be shy.
Yep.